Turning Point is a domestic violence and sexual assault service agency serving West Alabama. They've been working to help the survivors of sexual assault since 1979. Catherine Bridgers is here from Turning Point to tell me more about it. Catherine, it's good to see you again.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
Absolutely, it is our pleasure. Some disturbing news out of California today, or earlier this week. Did you hear about some things that have been alleged out there with young ladies, students, possibly being raped, and people possibly not wanting to talk about it because it might hurt a certain university's image?
Yes, and unfortunately, we know that there is still a lot of stigma for reporting sexual assault, and so there are outside and both inside internal pressures for young women, men, any victim to report their assault. And so it's disappointing to hear of an authority that is hesitant to report appropriately and to really vouch for the safety of their population.
What is it about rape that makes it so hard for a woman to be able to come forward and say, this happened to me, I'm a victim? Why does it sometimes take women, in some instances years, to come forward and say, this happened to me? Is it a repression thing? Is it a coping mechanism? Or is it just deep, deep guilt and shame and a misplaced sense of, I brought this on myself?
Probably a little bit of all of those. We live in a culture that still tends to look at a victim. Rape is one of the only violent crimes where there seems to be a cultural stigma to say, hey, what did the victim do wrong, as opposed to, why did the perpetrator do this? And so we see a lot of hesitancy in reporting for possibly fear of not being believed, fear of not being able to follow through with it, and also the chance of re-victimization. When you disclose assault, you end up having to tell your story over and over again, especially if you go through the law enforcement system, and in the court you may be saying it to dozens of people, and that can be re-traumatizing.
Wow. So in some victim's mind, it's almost worth letting the bum get away with it. That way you don't have to relive it over and over and over and over again, and you can begin to move forward and heal. But when you do let somebody get away with it, do you actually get to heal?
It depends on the victim. We know that less than 1 in 10 rapes are actually reported to law enforcement.
Wow.
We don't have any requirements for reporting for our services, so we actually have a number of clients who choose not to report to law enforcement. Even in Alabama, it is legal to pursue a forensic examination at a hospital as a Jane Doe victim, so you can even go and collect the evidence and not use your name, report as an anonymous victim, and we don't have a statute of limitation on rape, and so you may decide 10 years down the road that you're ready to pursue prosecution.
And then you move forward. Now, how many women would you guys say, and just ballpark for me, this doesn't have to be an exact figure, how many women come to you for services each month?
Each month, a few hundred.
A few hundred?
We have just an average of about 200 a month during the year.
And that would be rape-related, or?
That's all of our services.
All, okay.
We have some clients who are exclusively victims of sexual assault, some who are exclusively victims of domestic violence, and some who have been victimized in both ways. So we, have fewer sexual assault victims. Again, it is less reported, but in total, we're seeing about 200 male, female, and child victims in any given month.
Wow, unbelievable. Catherine, it's good to see you again. And best of luck with the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your support.
Sure. You can find out more about Turning Point by calling 205-758-0808 or online at turningpointservices.org.